We had to take a quick break for about a half hour due to a server restart. Let's go ahead and just pick off where we left off and finish this up. We are just finishing setting up the base and mostly just decorating at this point. We've set up most of the storage room. I'll go ahead and set up the actual names later. That doesn't really need to be on a feed. Otherwise, pretty much all that's left is just finishing decorating. Most of the main structures for the crafting room here are things that will be added later when we have more supplies. We still need to get an Anki and some of the other things that are needed for that. Let's see. Over the wrong thing. Oh, there it is. Our stream tomorrow afternoon, we will be doing a fair bit of taming for some of the necessities. This is going to include things such as working on getting an Anki, a Doedicurus, maybe either a Therizino or a Mammoth, something that's good at harvesting wood. We might try and pick up a couple Rexes depending on how things go. Wow, those are really big. They weren't kidding when they said it was an extra large canvas. Let's see if we can find one that's a little more reasonable than that. And as I had said before, we're going to work on in the future, not too distant future, doing some breeding projects. Those will most likely be done off screen. We will do a couple impromptu streams for breeding where we show kind of the process and what creatures we're breeding together. Maybe pop out some of the babies so you can see them. Most of the tedious part of that, of growing the babies and such, will be done off stream though, just because that's not a very entertaining process. Okay, let's see. As I had said before, I'm going to be placing a few canvases around. We'll have some fun with those later. Okay. Maybe you have to put the frame down first and then put the canvas in the frame? Never used these frames before. Oh, nice. Oh. Does not quite snap. There we go. Those are very large. So fun fact, the frame and the canvas each take a slot. These slots also are filled by taxidermies, and there's a few other decorative structures. There we go. If anyone has any ideas for anything they'd like to see painted on here, feel free to send me a whisper and let me know, or leave a message in the video. And I will see what I can do if it's something that, an idea that I like. I don't think that'll fit very well. Looks like it'll fit well enough. There we go. That takes up a little bit too much of that. Let's see. Okay, good. I left the book, or I brought the books with me. Just gonna go ahead and put a couple decorative books over here. Maybe a picture or two on the decks, or on the tables. Go ahead and put that open book like they were reading before they went to bed. Leave it like that. Come into this room and do kind of a similar thing. I think this one I'll go ahead and put the open book. Doesn't want to go where it should. Well, we'll go ahead and set the open book here next to the chair. Go ahead and set that book there. Stack. No, it will not stack. Put that book over there. Go ahead and put the squid picture up here. They really do not want to go on that wall shelf at all. There we go. Put another open book up here. This one, let's go ahead and put a couple more books up there. And then I did find there's a kitchen cabinet. Okay, go ahead and put that over here. And then I think that pretty well finishes the tavern other than making the paintings later. Let's come over here. The garden is still a little bit barren. I didn't really find much that would look good in here. Let's go ahead and add a painting here. Most of the plants that are available are all set up for aberration. I think we might add a couple ferns in there, but there's not a lot that's that appealing to put in the garden. Could put a bathroom in the garden. Oh, that's right, I had wanted to finish putting some of these. I was gonna do the red rugs down on this floor. And then I was gonna do green rugs on this floor. And I was going to go ahead and put some blue rugs up here. We do need to add some more lights upstairs. Because the lights from down here are not going to cut it all the way on the top floor. I think we're pretty much done with these though. I'll go ahead and take a look at those in my garden. Let's see. I did need some more of these. I'm trying to think what I want to put in the garden itself. I don't have any electronics left, so That definitely limits what we can put. Let's go ahead and use some lanterns, shall we? Grab that. Okay, let's go ahead and take these out here. First things first, I want to go ahead and put one of these over here in the corner. And then the main reason we made these was because it was very, very dark back here. Make sure there's nothing going to eat me. Looks like they did a wild dino wipe. Because the gotcha that was trapped over there is no longer around. That being said, something could have eaten it. This should help brighten up the area a bit. And it looks like I should make about 2 more of those. Oh, that's a beautiful macaw. It's a pair of them. You know what? Let's take a few moment break and go check out the pretties over here. Ew. Okay. Where did the other one go? There he is. Now I did notice, ooh, this one's gonna take 2 eyes twice. I did notice that there is a definite sexual dimorphism between the macaws. The males look like cockatoos with the fancy feathers on their heads, and the females look like macaws with a more smooth head. Well, if I'm lucky, he won't take off before I can tame him. Nice. Now the macaws are a part of the Animals of Atlas mod that is on the server. They do have a very interesting purpose though. They act like Gilly, apparently. I noticed there's this nice little icon in the bottom, and it says, "Your chattering friend soothes wild dinos from a distance. They may not attack you until they get a bit closer." Which theoretically means that, like Gilly, you are able to get much closer to an animal before it will draw aggro. Unknown if it will stack with the ghillie or not. But that would be the theory. Just gonna go ahead and put these on the ground in here. You know what? Those tall ferns are gorgeous. Let's go ahead and put them in a pot because it doesn't make sense for them to be growing on a wooden floor. There we go, that looks a lot nicer. There's that. Let's go ahead and put one of these on either side of the compost shed. Speaking of which, one of the definite priorities when we start caving is going to be obtaining some dung beetles. It has been an interesting process trying to keep up with the fertilizer on these plots. I've had to spend a fair bit of time today off stream logging on just to make sure that, oh, okay, those are weird. Just to make sure that that the plants stayed fed. That'll be a little bit easier once we get the item collector because it will automatically move the poop around. But until then, we don't really have a good way to do that. I do not really like those. They look really nice from the front. They are really weird from the side. Okay, we have some small hanging flowers. Let's go ahead and put one above each of the doors, shall we? There we go. I guess we could put one above each of these two windows because these two windows are pretty bare. There we are. That looks a little nicer. As far as the gems, could go ahead and add a couple of the gems in here just for the heck of it. Let's see, where are we missing? Let's go ahead and put one in this spot. Then I guess I'll just set one on the ground over here. There we go. A little bit of silliness. I'm gonna go ahead and put the macaws in here. And then let's go ahead and take the feces. And instead of putting them in the squares, we're going to put them in the compost bin first. And then any that might be left, we're going to put in the square. Okay, they all fit in there. And then the other thing that we need to do, we had done that pull earlier to the resource bins. We need to move the thatch into the compost bins. There we go. The recipe for fertilizer in these, if you have not used them, is thatch and poop. Doesn't really matter what size. Let's go ahead. I forgot to add the one last one at the end here. There we go. Kind of makes a silly little barn. The outside is finished. Our nice little decorative over here is finished as well. The inn is completed. The crafting building is pretty much as completed as we can do until we're able to get the better structures, such as electricity and industrial forages, replicators, things like that. We don't need anything that's in there. I don't think we have anything else in here. No. Let's check this. The only thing we have is the fire. That's right, we were gonna put those lanterns in the garden area. I forgot about that. Lanterns, we're just gonna make a little decorative thing here. Put it next to these ones in the center. Just enough to provide a little bit of light, but it shouldn't be overwhelming. Hopefully won't interfere. Okay, does not interfere with walking. Let's see if we can even get this guy to turn on. Okay, we're gonna move the gem until we get this turned on. There we go. Now we can put the gem back. There we are, now we have some lighting. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 of the fire bowls here. There we go. Now the garden is done. And we did need to add a little bit of lighting up here. We shouldn't have to put lighting on all 3 floors because generally speaking the lighting will filter through. So having lighting on the top floor and the bottom floor should be enough. Well, that looks like something happened to Reese. Okay, we did that on the second roof up. That takes care of those. And then there was one last thing that I did want to make out in the back. Which, fortunately, we have the foundations for. You know what? Let's go ahead and use the villager structures just so it looks the same. What I wanted to make back here, since flyer carry is on, when we get flyers, it makes it really easy and convenient to tame things if you make yourself a taming trap. This is just a little pen that you can drop things in. There's a lot more you can do with it when you have a Quetzal. Looks like people built where players are supposed to spawn in. That's never any fun. But once we are able to get a Quetzal, we will be able to... Sorry, trying to think. We will be able to set up, or be able to carry things such as mammoths. You can carry allosaurs and all sorts of big things. And if you have a taming trap, you can drop them in where you can tame them safely. Now there's quite a few ways to do a taming trap. Really depends on the size of the creature that you're trying to tame. If you're taming big things like Rexes or Therizinosaurs, you can get by with using gates pretty easily. If you are taming small things, such as raptors, you really, really, really need to have door frames and have much smaller openings. The important thing, though, most of all, is you need to have an easy way to be able to shoot into it without getting hit. And therein lies the question. Can you shoot through these rails? Because that would make for a very easy taming trap. It looks like you can. Now I do have that Argentavis, so we can go ahead and test this out after I get it made. Let's see. First we need rails. We're gonna do the full-size rails for this one. We've been using the low rails because they're a little more decorative, but in this circumstance, actually we might be able to use the scaffolds too. Wonder if you can shoot through the scaffolds. That'll be something to check as well. Let's go ahead and make those and see. Now we only need one level high to be able to deal with smaller creatures like a raptor. Especially because these structures are pretty big. Oh, lovely. Okay, well, I guess that solves that. I forgot that these structures, unlike the others, you can place walls and gates together. I forgot with the CKF, it will just break them. Oh well. If this works, we don't need those other structures anyway. Those were more decorative than anything. Now, you know what we could do? Let's go ahead and leave that one and just put a gate in it. There's plenty of room to shoot around it, and that'll make an easy way to walk things in and out. Now with the soul balls, that's not entirely necessary. Let's see, where's the gates? There they are. But at the very least it looks nice. And about half of this build is looks. And then we'll get some ramps or some stairs to put down here. But I want to test this out first. So let's go see if we can find something relatively easy to deal with. I'd prefer something like a raptor that we can carry that's fairly aggressive, or maybe one of those big battle cats. I am not even going to try a Thylacoleo right now because that would probably just yank me right off my mount. There's some compies, there's some raptors. Those raptors are not in a good situation. Nope, that's Pecky. I want the green raptor. Nope, that's Pecky. Come on, raptor. Again with the Pecky. And I have the raptor, thank you. I did not see what that raptor is. Just a 30. Yeah, we're gonna take this guy. He's pretty, he's a decent level. And the other reason why I really wanted a raptor is they have a nice narrow body. I don't think they can walk through these walls, but they will probably be the best test for this. Now we're gonna come over here, drop him in there. There we go, we have him nice and caught. And now we can see, we can shoot through at him, nice. So this will work perfectly. And being the fact that these are stone tier, okay, you're going to be a pain. Being the fact that these are stone tier, this will work for pretty much anything we could possibly want to tame. Let's see, I think I left my taming food, yes. I put the taming food on the macaw since I keep him with me everywhere I go. That makes it nice and convenient. Let's go ahead and finish building this up, since this proved effective. Now, it doesn't have to be super huge because even with the with a Quetzal, we can't really carry anything that would be able to step over 2 high. I'm gonna go ahead and put it to 3 high just so it matches up the gate. Let's see if we like any of the other frames better. Now I want to be really careful what frame I pick. God forbid one of the frames allows them to escape or makes it harder to hit. You know what? I think that's going to be the best frame option. So now we have a pretty green level 187 Raptor. Actually got a 34 in melee, that's not so bad. Okay. Put you away. And we need, looks like 4 more walls and we are done with the taming trap. And that taming trap should work for pretty much anything we want to tame. We also needed a couple stairs. I wouldn't mind putting some rails on it. And let's see, it was 4 of those scaffolds. There we go. Let's go ahead and put stairs down. Put the rails in. And then the last major thing that we need to go around and do that we hadn't done earlier. Let's, okay, set it to model. Is we need to come around to the different rails here and just go ahead and fix the rails. Okay. Yes, because those are the low rails that didn't like that. And after this, I think this is pretty much going to be it for the base. I can't really think of anything else offhand that we really need. The tavern has all of our cooking supplies. The crafting room has all our crafting stations. I guess there's one last thing that I should probably set up, and that is just a little box for an electrical generator that is connected to the grid so we can easily, uh-oh, that guy's being chased by something. Yeah, that or one of his buddies just got attacked by something. I have no idea what. The little dodo is nice and happy. I guess we'll just watch our backs. But yeah, as far as the electrical room, I like to set up just like a little shed that the generator will fit into nicely, kind of out of the way. Makes it look a little nicer when otherwise the generators are pretty ugly. And the best thing about that is we start with a gas generator. We will move up as we complete the bosses to the tech generator. And both generators will fit the same blueprint. What the? Oh, So whatever box we make for the first generator will work for all future generators. The other really nice thing with that is that the tech generator does not require any electrical plugs. It just kind of radiates power. Whereas the electrical generator, we will need to set up wires. I don't know that the CKF will allow the internal wires. That will be something to check when we start doing electricity. The internal wires definitely are nice to use because they're hidden, so you don't have to see the cords everywhere. We do not have the stuff for electricity yet, though, so that will be something we will figure out later. So let's go ahead and do that last thing. Give me a second, my stream is acting up. Sometimes I have to switch over to the actual channel to be able to see what's going on, because the Twitch stream preview goes away. I'm not quite sure why it does that. There we go. Now let's go ahead and all we need is a single foundation, 3 walls. Now let's go ahead and actually I'm going to set up 4 walls. I'm going to do 2 gables. Is a single foundation. We need a door, which I do not want a door with a window. Actually, I'm going to set up because I do not want to see in that thing. We need a door, which I do not want. And then a roof with a window. Because I do not want to see in that. You know what? I'm going to see. I don't know. We ran out of electronics, the little bit that we had. So let's see. And then a roof. Where do I want to set this up? We want it to be relatively close. Let's go ahead and set it up right here. No, we ran out of electronics, the little bit that we had. We'll go ahead and put the foundation down. So let's see. Set up the walls. Unfortunately, it does break that. Set up an extra wall back here. Put the gables. Put the roof. We'll go ahead and put the foundation down. Set up the door. And then when it comes time, we will set the generator right in here. And then we just have this cute little shed, and no one has to see what's in it. Okay, I'm trying to think. As far as breeding, we will need a spot to raise babies. Breeding is not such a big deal, actually speaking of, I don't know. When it comes time, Breeding isn't such a big deal as far as space because their timers will cool down while they are in their soul balls. Okay, I'm trying to think. As far as breeding, we will. But the actual baby raising, especially when we start getting bigger things such as Gigas or Rexes, they take a fair bit of time to grow up and they need a lot of space to grow up. And you definitely want to secure them in a room, preferably an enclosed room. That way no other animals come in and eat them. Because even the biggest and baddest Giga baby will run and not fight back. So essentially, if they get attacked and you don't have something guarding them, they will die. So we need to figure out where we want to put this. It's going to be the last real thing we need to build. Everything else is accounted for. Let's see. We could put it back here, but when we fight things in the taming pen, that is going to freak out the babies. They really do not like combat. The other option, we could put it back here. There is a big open area. They take a fair bit of time to grow up. Kind of a little bit far from everything. And the only other thing I can think is to have it elevated. Let's go ahead and throw out the Argent and take a look a little bit higher up. I know some of these rock faces have some flat, interesting structures. It's not that side, it's this side. So we could also set it up here. I think that's a little too out of the way. There is a big open area. I think the best bet is going to be right back. Oh, hello. You caught a Rex already. Yes, this is on PvE. We are on the Prodigy gaming server. The only other thing I can think is to have it. They've got a lot of really nice mods. And the rates are really nice if you're looking for a nice server to play on. I think the best bet is. Let's see. Oh, hello. You caught a Rex already. Yes, this is on PvE. We are on the Prodigy. That is a beautiful Rex. It does seem to be very active. At this time in the morning, it's pretty quiet. We have seen a lot of people later in the day. It's got active admins, it's got all the different maps of the cluster and the story arcs. I believe it has a couple extra maps as well. A lot of really nice mods. I want to say I think they do some events, but I would have to look at the Discord again. Yes, it does have a Discord. Let me see if I can get that link for you really fast, and I can put it in the chat. Got active admins, it's got and the story arcs. I believe it has a couple extra maps as well. Give me just a moment to pull that up. Really nice mods. I want to say I think they do some events, but I would have to look at the Discord again. Yes, it does have a Discord. Let me see if I can get that link for you really fast, and I can put it in the chat. Just a moment to pull that up. That's what it pulls up for me when I go to share it. Let me know if that does not work, and I will try to figure out a different one. But yeah, if this is your first time watching, we are going to be doing a stream every Saturday from going from endgame, or from newbies to endgame. We started actually last Saturday. So this week we are going to be working on doing a lot of taming for the needed tames. Perfect. Also, what the plan is, not only are we going to be doing it every Saturday, we are going to be working on progressing a little bit each week, eventually doing each of the caves, and then the bosses. We plan to complete each map in story progression for the arc, so this one is the island. I'm not entirely sure if they have Scorched Earth, but if they do, Scorched Earth would be next, then Aberration, and so on. Let me know if that does not work, and I will try to figure out. And then after we finish with Arc, we will be picking up a new game. But yeah, if not quite sure what it's going to be right now. It might be Conan, might be 7 Days to Die. Really not sure yet. It's going to be a while though. Arc is not a fast game. Last Saturday. So this week we are going to be working on doing a lot of. So now I'm just working on building a little baby raising barn back here. Just somewhere that I can safely throw out the babies, let them grow. I do have a nanny. I'm using her as kind of a decoration out here. Actually, I need to check that. She should be able to reach that far. No, they do not have as big of a range on this map. Okay, I will have to replace her with someone else. And move her over to the other spot. Arc really does. It's gonna be a commitment. That's for sure. Especially going through the maps. When we move maps, we are planning on taking a caravan of just what we can carry. Basically leaving this base behind. I will come back over here for breeding and things like that. But we are planning on actually only taking about 2 dinos with us each person when we move. There's 4 of us, so basically we will mostly be starting over again with each map. We will eventually bring over our bred dinos. The rule that we're kind of setting up for ourselves is we are not going to bring over anything but the 8 dinos until we have tamed that dino on the new map. Taking a caravan of just what we can carry. So it should be a pretty interesting challenge there. Leaving this base behind. There are 4 of us. It's myself, my husband, and our 2 oldest sons. I'm the only one you're generally gonna hear. You'll probably see them chatting. But this last week, if you watch this feed from last Saturday, it was just my husband and I. The kids were having a little bit of trouble getting in, but they are in now. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of naked bodies on the floor in here. Eventually bring over our bred dinos. The rule that we're kind of setting up for ourselves is... But yeah, we usually all play together on the different servers that we play on. We've been bouncing around off and on with Ark since about 2 weeks after the game was released. This is the first time we've really followed the story, though. It was just my husband and I. We are only playing on PC, yes. Ark itself, I believe, is available on the various consoles. I know I've seen it on the Xbox. Pretty sure they have it for PlayStation as well. I know there's a mobile version, although I have no idea how you would manage Ark on a phone. We've been bouncing around. But yeah, for us personally, we just play on the PC. Since about 2 weeks after the game was released. Okay, we are gonna need a lot of walls for this. This is the first time we've really followed the story, though. Let's do about 50 walls. We are only playing on PC. Get some gables in here. And is available on the various consoles. We're definitely going to need some more roofs. You know, I'm honestly not sure. I think the server is PC only, but I don't know how that works. As I said, I've never played on the consoles, so I don't know how the integration between the PC and console servers works. I've seen it on the Xbox. I imagine they might say on the Discord, though, if they do have the other as an option. Let's see. We're definitely gonna... Yeah, no problem. Roofs. You know, I'm honestly not sure. I think the server is PC only, but I don't know. I also noticed, I discovered, I think it was early or last night, they have a boss packager on the server that lets you package up artifacts, the bits, elements, trophies, the trophy heads, and you can actually package up entire boss packages, so all the artifacts and bits you need for a specific boss, into these nice little care packages that you can take with you to other maps and carry around and store more easily. Thought that was kind of a fun little add-on they have. They have a okay. Boss packager
Place that
on the server that lets you package up artifacts, the bits, elements, trophies.
Now I think I'm gonna set this one up mostly for
package up entire
Rex being about the biggest thing that we're gonna breed in here.
Nice little care packages that you can
I can always make it bigger later if we get Gigas or Carcharodons.
and carry around and store more easily. Thought that was kind of a fun little add-on they have. Also, having the pitched roof, like I'm doing for this, will make it so that bigger creatures can fit as long as they're put in the center of the room. I can always make it bigger later if we get Gigas or Carcharodons.
Okay, let's see. I might actually have to pull out the trike to do this very well.
Also, having the pitched roof, like I'm doing for this, will make it so that bigger creatures can fit as long as they're put in the center of the room.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and start here at this level with putting the gables. That should make it plenty tall enough. Grab that. Well, that's not gonna work very well.
I might actually have to pull out the trike to do this very well. Now, if you're just turning this on, we are just finishing up decorating and building the base. We're just doing the final touches, which is making a little breeding area so that the babies can grow up safely. This I'm not going to put very much decoration in just because it would make it a little bit harder to raise the babies in it. Perfect. It's going to be a perfectly pitched roof. Now, if you're Just turning this on, we are just finishing up decorating and building the base. We're just doing the final touches, which is making a little breeding area so that the babies can grow up safely. This I'm not going to put very much decoration in just because it would make it harder to raise the baby. There we go, there's that half. And then we're just going to work our way down the other side. Actually, we are going to go get more materials. It does look like I'm shy just a couple gables, so we're going to go ahead and craft those as well really fast. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick her up. Now, I prefer to put the nanny as well as a baby feeding trough just inside the gate. That way, when you start getting big, obnoxious tails and everything in the way, you can still actually get to them. Especially with certain creatures, such as Dilos, Deinonychus. I've even had Gigas do this. Sometimes they will just randomly starve to death. Sometimes the nanny doesn't do her job very well. So as soon as everybody regrows their hair, we are going to work on making a second nanny. Some of the smaller creatures, you're still going to want to watch them though, because even with 2 nannies, I have had them starve to death. Really fast. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick her up. Now, I prefer to put the nanny to death. Sometimes the nanny doesn't do her job very well. So as soon as everybody regrows their hair, we are going to work on making a second nanny. Some of the smaller creatures, you're still going to want to watch them though, because even with 2 nannies, I have had them starve. And now all we need is the gate to go in. There. And that will be completed. Let's see if we can make one last feeding trough. There we go. Sometimes the nanny doesn't do her job very well. So as soon as everybody And there we have it. This room is actually big enough for a Giga or Carcharodon as long as it stays in the center. It is plenty big enough for Uties, Rexes, or anything else that we could want to breed. The only things that would give us trouble as they grow would be things like wyverns that are absolutely massive. And there you have it. That pretty much finishes what we need for the base. We have the baby breeding area. We have a nice decorative courtyard outside. We have this nicely decorated area for the explorer note that will hopefully draw attention to it for anyone that comes by. We've got our garden going, good and strong. We are having a little bit of trouble maintaining the fertilizer, but as soon as we can get some dung beetles, that won't be a problem anymore. We have our little compost shed. We built the tavern with a little inn upstairs. This has all of our cooking necessities. This doubles as a grill. We've got a cooking pot, a recipe station, a dye mixer. Sink gives water. Upstairs, we've got our couple rooms and balcony, just decorated as though it was an inn. Come back outside, we have a little electrical shed prepared for when we get a generator. It'll go in there. We have our crafting and storage room. And out back on the opposite side from the babies, so it doesn't freak them out, we have a nice little taming pen that you can drop animals into. I made it so big because when eventually we get Quetzals, you can drop things like mammoths and allosaurs in. And because all of this is stone tier, anything that we would want to drop in is safe. The only things that this base is at risk from would be things like Gigas and Alphas. There are a couple Alphas that we are at risk of getting here, but they are going to be extremely rare, if at all. This is the crafting area. The industrial forge will go there eventually. The tech replicator will go there eventually. I added a bunch of paintings, which I will probably do some streams later of actually putting paintings on those. And up here we have a big old storage room. Most of this is going to be for resource bins. Some of them we will set up for armor and other things. And there you have it. That is pretty much all we're going to do for this. Any other changes will be minor as needed. And thanks everyone for tuning in. If you have any ideas for things you'd like to see painted on those paintings, go ahead and send me a whisper or write in chat. I will check those later. And otherwise, don't forget to tune in tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will be doing our normal stream where we will continue progressing on this arc. The next task at hand is going to be taming the things we need for progression, so things such as Ankies, duties, maybe a Therizinosaur or something like that for wood. And hopefully we will be starting our work on Rexes as well, and preparing to start caving and go to the bosses. So go ahead and follow if you want to stay notified on when there's going to be feeds. I also do a weekly stream on Sunday mornings around 6 a.m. for a random game. I do a building stream on Wednesdays. And we will be doing some impromptu streams for breeding and other things as things go along. So, hope everyone has a good day, and thank you again. We will set up for armor and other things. And there you have